Hi, it's Kathianne Lewis, and I want to tell a story. It's an old story, but it's kind of a always appropriate story. It comes out of what we call the New Testament. It comes out of the Gospel of John, and it's a story that's told about Jesus and an interaction that he had with a blind man and his disciples. And the reason I'm telling this story is to just show us that thousands of years can go by, and yet human beings remain the same. And it also tells the antidote for what is normal for us, but not necessarily spiritual for us. So here's the story. Jesus came across a blind man, healed the blind man, and the blind man had been blind since birth. So it's not like something happened in his eye, he lost his eyesight. He'd been blind since birth. And so the disciples said, well, who caused the blindness? Was it him or was it his parents? And Jesus says, well, it wasn't either one. We're not going to look for blame here. I'm paraphrasing. We're not going to look for blame here. This and every situation is an opportunity for God to be glorified. Well, I say that this is a story that is still going on because how many of you have ever wondered, what did I do to create this problem? Or how many of you in your love of someone else have ever thought, or maybe even said to them, what do you think you did to create this? It's sort of like this old icky thing that used to go around, which is basically, what in your consciousness created this? Well, what Jesus said is, basically, this happened so that God could be glorified. The man was blind, and Jesus healed him, and God could be glorified. There's another thing that I'm really working with, and it's a hard nut to crack, but it opens up so many blessings. If we can just understand that if God is present in everything, then God is present in a problem. And it's waiting for us to really look at the problem and open it up so the blessing can emerge. Well, we've got some problems in our country like right now. And one of the problems is we want to blame. Who do we blame for this? Who should we blame for this? I know who to blame for this. These people are at fault. This person's at fault. And maybe the bigger the problem, the bigger the blessing that is waiting to happen if we would turn our attention from the problem and the situation and looking for someone to make wrong, and we gave it up and we let it down and we said, Father, Mother, God within, since you're present everywhere and in your presence is a blessing, let me know your presence and let me know the blessing, not only for myself, but for others. Because when we stop making wrong, when we allow things to be and stop cursing those things that we don't resonate with, wow, a blessing can happen. Did you know that in the Aramaic, the word for enemy, because Jesus said, bless your enemy, bless your enemy. How much of that is going around now? But the word for enemy just meant someone that you're out of sync with, you don't agree with, you don't see eye to eye. Don't make them the devil, something evil, something to be done away with. And I know that you know that. I mean, I'm talking to the choir, but I want to just remind all of us to stay centered in the presence of love. Look at problems with love and demand within ourselves that a blessing be revealed. And that if we are tempted to say, who's to blame? Who should I blame? Oh, I know, I'll just blame. To not go there. Because for those of you that consider yourself Christian, that's not Christian. And for those of you that consider yourself a follower of the teachings of the man Joshua ben Joseph, which is his real name, not Jesus. There are no Jewish Jesuses. If you consider yourself a follower of that wisdom teacher, then we don't blame. if you consider yourself a student of good spiritual technology, then we don't blame. And we don't look for who to blame. But we look for a blessing in the midst of a problem. Hope you have a great Wednesday evening and a great rest. I can't even talk. A great rest of the week, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Where I am, God is. Where I stand, God is standing strong. Where I breathe, God is breathing life in and out and through me. As me, where I sing, God is. Where I dance, joy lifts my feet. Where I live, beauty's flowing free, in and out and through me. As me, where I doubt, God is the faith in me. Where I cry, God is the comfort there. Where I seek, God is the answer, here and now, forever and ever and ever. Where I speak, truth is. Where I work, love is my career. Where I play, God is playing boldly, in and out and through me. As me,